Krista Olsson-Campbell, and I'm doing just a general yoga class for you today. I've had some requests from some of my participants if I would do some classes and let them have access to them. So I'm not a professional at this, but I'm going to do my best, and if nothing else, you can use it for comic relief during these kind of distressing times. So what you'll need is a mat, a yoga mat, and if you could get some pillows, that would be good. You could use them under your knees or under our seat. I've got some bricks here, yoga bricks, but you could use like a pot or a pan. I have a roller we're going to use today for a little self-myofascial release. And this is, you could use just a rolling pin if you have. Also have a strap, which you could use a tie. And I also think we'll use the bolster today. And so you could take a couple of stiffer blankets and roll them up, or you could roll them around a pool noodle, and that would also make kind of a nice firm bolster. So without further ado, we're going to get started. So you might want to sit on a pillow, and you can sit any way that's comfortable for you, or if you prefer lying, you're always welcome to do our centering lying down. So you can sit however it's comfortable for you. And we're just going to start with a few de-stressing breaths. So we're going to inhale, bring the shoulders up, and exhale. Inhale, shoulders draw up. Exhale, release. I'm just letting go of any tension you're holding there. Good, now settle into your comfortable posture for the next few minutes. Closing the eyes and starting to tune into your body. So start at the base of your body, start at your feet, and we're going to gradually work our way to the crown. Paying attention, isolating each part of our body. So we'll begin with the toes. Just draw your awareness to them and carry this awareness up the feet, to the ankles, to the lower leg, your knees, your thighs, and just feeling your connection to the floor, to your supports, just gently rooting the pelvis down, feeling your spine lift and lengthen. If you feel any tension along your spine, just notice if making some subtle changes to your posture could help to alleviate that stress. Feel your shoulders softening with each exhalation as the arms become heavy and the palms become receptive. Tuning into the neck, the base of the skull. Noticing any tension in the face without judgment, just simply observing. Allowing your cheeks to go slack. Any tension around your eyes to melt. So that the eyes feel like they're no longer looking or seeking, even though they're closed. Allow the brow to soften, the forehead to ease. And then we're going to tune into our breathing. Not changing it, but just simply noticing the gentle expansion and contraction that happens with each breath. Notice how the pauses between the breaths seem to expand as our breath naturally slows and finds its own easy rhythm. If thoughts pop up, that's okay. Just take note and let them float by like you're watching clouds in the distance, drawing your attention and awareness back to your breath. We're going to bring one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart, and we're slowly going to start to expand our breath. As you inhale to the lowest lobes of the lungs, feeling the belly expand, the side ribs expand, and then all the way up to your heart center. Holding that breath momentarily, and then slow descending exhale from the top of the lungs to the bottom, and another pause. So always thinking of that breath in 4 phases, completing one phase before moving to the next. Just waiting for your body to call for that next stage of the breath. No need to rush. And allow yourself to hang out in the pauses as long as you like. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Releasing any tension with the exhale. Feeling a sense of energy on the inhalation. Releasing the hands down to the thighs. And we're going to draw the chin down toward the chest. Warming up the neck, maintaining the pace of our breath. As we inhale, rolling the head to one side, staying in your comfortable, your pain-free range of motion. And as you exhale, drawing the chin back towards the chest. Inhale as we roll up the other side, pause. And exhale, chin back toward the chest. One more time. Lifting the head back up through the center, and we're going to rotate, turning the head side to side. So as we exhale, just going to wherever it feels comfortable for you, and as we inhale, coming back to the center. Exhale, turning the head, and inhale, back to center. We're going to get our legs outstretched just to change our positioning, unless you already had them outstretched. And you can still have something underneath the buttocks if you prefer. So we're going to go into Dandasana now, and want to get right on the sitting bones if we can. We want to have our legs energized, our feet almost as though they're pressing against an imaginary wall. And we're going to do a little breath work here, a little warm up. So as we exhale, we're going to push our hands forward till we feel that gentle stretch in our hamstrings, maybe in our low back. And as we inhale, we're going to draw those arms up and over into sort of a W formation, opening up our chest muscles and the front of our shoulders. So move at your breath's pace. Exhale forward, inhale up. And I want you to think about or envision your breath as light and as energy. And as we inhale, we scoop this light energy up, just like you're giving yourself a shower or a bath of that light energy. And as we exhale, pressing out, releasing anything that no longer serves you, any cloudy gray energy, if you'd like to envision it as such. Exhale, release. Inhale, drawing that positive energy in and over. exhale. And always staying in your comfortable, pain-free, clunk-free range of motion. You're always welcome to bend your knees here a little as well. Whenever you're sitting straight-legged, for some of us, if our hamstrings are kind of tight, it'll kind of push the pelvis back. You almost have a bit of a lean back to your body. So think about that and feel free to bend your knees if you find you're kind of doing that. Let's do 3 more breaths. Exhale, inhale, scoop up. And exhale. So you can inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose, or through the mouth if you prefer. As long as we're getting that breath that feels comfortable for us. Last time. And good, and we're going to draw ourselves back up. Okay, I'd like to begin with the myofascial release because this will help to kind of hydrate our fascia, the tissue that surrounds our musculature, and kind of separates us and connects us throughout the body from head to toe. So we're going to begin, and you could do this seated in a chair. It might be more comfortable to do it that way, or I like to even elevate just myself up a little higher. So you could take your bolster, or again sit in a chair and just get yourself a little bit higher up. All right, so we're going to start with our lower body, and we'll start with sort of just one side. So however this is comfortable for you, and again, a chair might be more comfortable, so feel free to grab. We're going to start sort of around the hip crease, the front of the hip, where your pants wrinkle when you sit, and we're going to work around the side of the hip and the front of the hip just to begin. And you don't have to do a ton of rolling to have an effect, so we're just going to keep on rolling. Then from there, we're going to take it down the quadriceps. And then we're going to take it to the back of the leg to roll out the hamstrings. This always feels so good. Find lots of nooks and crannies that you didn't even know were sore. So we're going to move on down to our calf. Now working all around, it's called your gastrocs. Feels so good. And then we'll also roll out the shin to the Atlas anterior. It's great to roll out the feet too, and you could do it here, just a quick little roll, but you can also do it standing if you like a little more pressure. Just kind of quick roll out the instep, toes. We're going to stay on that side, and we're going to plunk it into our right hip. If you did your right leg, we'll plunk it into our right hip. And then we're just going to roll out our arm. This is our bicep, and it helps, I think, to turn the hand. Okay, so we want to do a little rotation there. Bring your arm to the inside, and we'll roll up the tricep. So I usually do the back first. For some reason I chose to do the arms, but we're going to cover it all. So it's all good. We can do the tricep here. We can do the rear deltoid a bit if you can reach back there. And then it's also nice to do your forearm. So you can bring your forearm here and push the two together, also rotating. You can kind of give your wrists a little. Always feels good. I'm going to do the front and the back of that forearm. We'll stay on the same side, and you're going to take your roller and just tip your right ear up if you're doing the right side, and just roll along, sort of starting at the base of the skull and behind the ear and underneath the right side of the skull, and roll just up and down the traps. Now you can also have the option of grabbing it with the other hand, especially when we're working right under the skull and sort of alongside your neck, but not rolling on the actual spine itself, just staying on the muscles. Okay, so from here we're going to just reach this down like a back scratcher. And our bottom hand's going to come down, grab it, and it can just be sort of a light, loose, kind of almost like a pivot point for it as you roll this over the back of your shoulder blade, the back of your shoulder, which is posterior deltoid muscle, and also between the spine and the scapula. Okay, then we can let our top hand go, grab the roller, lean forward a bit, and you can roll out your low back region, sideways a bit. You can do this kneeling, you can do it sitting as well, so you can just kind of keep leaning forward. And then we can do the buttock too. You can lean forward, get into the glutes, or again, you can do that kneeling if you wanted. Okay, let's release our roller. And let's just take a moment to observe what you're feeling. Take a nice deep breath, let everything go. And just notice and observe how you feel in comparison, the side that we worked on versus the side that you have yet to work on. And just see if you notice any differences between the height of your shoulders, the length of your arms, the feeling of circulation or energy. And you might even feel the sides of your face feel a little different from working on one side only and hydrating the fascial tissue as compared to your other side. So we're going to find that roller and we're going to work on the side that you haven't worked on, starting at the hip. Always feel one leg more than the other. So then we're going to start rolling out the quadriceps, working our way around the thigh, inner thigh, top of the thigh, the outer thigh, sort of working around the IT band. Not too much direct pressure on that IT. Just more to the top of it, if you will, sort of more into the vastus lateralis, that lateral part of your quadricep. Okay, and then we're going to take our stick and we're going to bring it underneath into those hamstrings. Working our way around. And then our calf muscle. Ooh, that always feels so good. Okay, and then we're going to go and do the tibialis again. And then roll up the foot. So you can use just a rolling pin, but you can also get these rollers at almost any store now. Any general department store has them even. Or you can order online. All right, so let's do the arm on this side. Plunk it in. We're going to roll out the bicep first, rotating the arm. And then we're going to bring it to the inside. We'll roll out our tricep. We'll do our forearm, turning the palm away as well so we can work both sides. And wrist a bit. And then we can even do the back again, reaching that over like a back scratcher. You can hang on to the bottom part of that roller and then work between your spine and the scapula, over the scapula, back of that shoulder. forward here and start to roll out that back. And the buttock. Side of the hip. And then we'll just finish off with a little bit for the hands. If you like, just either you could use the smoothness of the handles, or if you like the beaded effect, you can use that. And just roll out the base of the thumbs, fingers. Awesome. And that's our myofascial release. So just do feel those shoulder rolls and feel the sensation of freedom that you've created in the body. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to come into our knees, hands and knees. And when you're on your hands and knees, if you find that you would like a little extra cushioning, that can be what your pillows are for. Okay, so feel free to put a cushion under your knees if you want a little extra support there. And then we're going to start with just a little cat-cow. So I'll try and change my position so you can see what I'm doing, how things are looking from the side view. So we're going to spread our hands as wide as we can into the mat, creating a real strong bond with the floor, with the earth. This is called the Hasta Bandha. And we're going to just warm up our spine with a little flexion and extension. So inhale to prepare. And as you exhale, start to engage the pelvic floor, the abdomen, as we round through the spine, gazing towards the navel, making a nice sort of mad cat position. And as we inhale, we're going to lift the head, lift the tailbone, and open up the chest and the belly. And just keep going with that. You're going to exhale into flexion. And inhale into extension. We're just going to come back into a nice neutral alignment. We're going to warm up those hips a little bit as well. So from here, just sending those hips back and just maintain your spinal alignment. And then inhale, draw forward. Exhale back, just keeping the neutral spine, finding that hip and knee flexion, and then inhale, drawing back up. So we'll do that a few times. All right, now we're going to draw down onto our forearms. And we'll just stabilize those shoulders, drawing the shoulder blades down, drawing the skull back in line with the spine so the head's not dropping. And we're just going to take one leg back, dig the toes, and then just push yourself backwards here. We're just getting a little stretch into the calves. And if you engage the quadriceps on that leg, you're going to find that you get a better stretch into the calf. So you want to feel like you're almost hugging in the thigh bone, and that will help open up the space at the back of the knee. Okay, and then we're going to release that, and we're going to switch. Dig toes, send the heel back, take a few breaths. All right, we're going to bring that back up, walking those hands up, and we're just going to do a little in a side-to-side movement here, releasing those hips, getting more to the lateral side of the hip. All right, so we're going to stretch ourselves out here onto the floor. And we're just going to start with a little cobra or sphinx. So we'll have those elbows right under the shoulders, tucking the tailbone a bit, drawing the belly up. And then I just want you to sort of roll the shoulders down and back, broadening the collarbone, again keeping your low ribs sort of tucked into the body. And then the skull might pull back here a little. If you want to add just a little bit of a chin lift, you can do that just to kind of get that stretch going all the way up. And we're breathing. If anyone gets toe cramps, you can always kind of dig your toes, or some people get leg cramps when their toes are pointed, so feel free to do that. And if anyone feels quite comfortable here, you can sort of tug yourself forward. Imagine yourself pulling yourself through the elbows. And if you're still feeling good, you might even feel like you can come up a little bit higher here. So you go wherever you can, keeping the shoulders down, the elbows in, the ribs into the body, grounding through the pelvis, breathing where you can. Okay, let's lower that down. We're going to come right down to the floor. You can rest your head in your hands, and fists or flat hands. We'll pick up those feet and we'll just do a nice little side to side rock, kind of massage out your quadriceps. Let your low back release here. Okay, we're going to walk those feet down. And then we're going to take our arms, we'll do a little upper back strength, well, just posterior strength for the body. So we're going to draw that belly inward and upward, just keeping our core turned on. From here, we're going to roll the shoulders back and down, reach fingers to toes, and come up into this half locust or Ardha Salabhasana. And then right now, currently, your palms are facing your thighs. Then we're going to turn the thumbs out to have palms facing floor, and then continue that, turning the thumbs up. So really trying to broaden our collarbone here. Just let the head follow the line of the spine, so our head's not down, nor is it chin forward, but just tension free, the back of the neck. And we're breathing. And if you wanted to add the glutes into this to make it a full Salabhasana, you could extend from the hip joint, still breathing. So lots of back body strengthening here. Opening our collarbones, great for our posture and alignment. All right, we're going to release that back down. And let's again take those feet up, and we'll do just a little windshield wipers, just releasing, releasing, releasing. Now we're going to straighten those legs out again, and we'll just dig our toes on one leg, kind of push the heel back so we lengthen out the front of our hip crease, and we'll do the same on the other leg. And then from here, we're just going to take one foot up, and I know we all have a different amount of knee flexion available to us. So you could use your strap around your ankle. You could use, just pulling on your pant leg, or some of you might be able to hang on to the ankle or part of the foot here. So just go wherever you can. You can rest your head on your fist if you like, and then just draw the belly up. Do almost like a bit of a pelvic tilt, especially if you find your bum kind of driving up. You want to make sure you maintain as neutral alignment as you can. And once you've established that, we're going to kind of think about pushing the hip crease down into the mat. So that'll help us get a nice stretch through the front of the hip and into the quadriceps. And we're breathing. Okay, we're going to release that. We're going to switch, rest our head on the hand, and go ahead and do the other side. Okay, we're going to release that, and we're going to bring ourselves up onto all fours again. So we're going to do a couple of things for the hips and also for the arms. So we're going to start with puppy dog pose. So again, feel free to put something under your knees if you need. And with puppy dog, we're going to keep a vertical position through our thigh bones here. And just walk our hands out till we feel almost like a down dog position here, a real broad spreading of the hands, shoulder width. And then you might end up changing your position if it doesn't feel quite right. We want to be able to push down through the hands, straighten the arms, elbows are off the ground. You might rest your head on the ground if that's available to you, but you can also just keep the ears in line with the arms. And then we're breathing. Nice deep breath. So we want to feel this stretch into sort of the armpit region. And it is like a modified down dog. So there is some energy, some work involved here. But it's also a nice opening for that shoulder. So just deep breaths into almost like you're breathing into the side ribs and the armpits. We're going to bring yourselves forward. You can walk your hands back underneath you. And we're going to take, you probably will want a foamy for this. We're going to take a foamy and just place it under one of your knees. And we're going to take the other leg and bring it forward. Let me just scooch up here a little bit. So we can dig the toes on the back foot if you like for a little more balance. And we just want to sort of think about what's happening here. We want to make sure that the tailbone stays down so we're not opening or popping our ribs here. We want to keep that nice pelvic alignment. Imagine it like a level bowl, not kind of spilling forward nor backward, but just nice and level. We'll maintain that and then just sort of bring yourself forward here until you feel a nice stretch through the quads and the hip flexors. And we might do that a few times. We'll just kind of lunge forward a bit and then we'll bring it back. Exhale and inhale. Okay, so we're going to stay in this position, keeping that core and that nice level pelvis. Then we're going to take those hands. If you like, you can interlace them. We can do Kali Mudra here. We're going to bring those arms up, relax the shoulders, just go to where you're comfortable. And then once again, looking for that lunge to find that stretch in front of the hip, in front of the thigh, kind of lifting. You could add a slight back bend here if you lift your heart. Try and draw the outer elbows to the inner elbows. And we're breathing. All right, we're going to release that back down. And we're just simply going to go to the other side. Okay, so this time I'm going to face ya. Okay, so same idea. We're going to draw the tailbone down, find this opening here, and just for a few forward and back movements here. It's always nice if you can to do a little kind of ease into the pose. And that also helps sort of floss the fascia, connective tissue, so it allows a little more freedom and ease of movement, a little more mobility. Okay, so let's hold our stretch. We're going to draw that tailbone down. And again, when we're stretching, we're probably only going to about 75-80% of our max, just so our body kind of enjoys the stretch and isn't sort of fighting against it by tensing or sort of resisting. And then we're going to breathe. Again, find your stretch, find your breath. We're going to release that and we're going to bring that down. Okay, so I'm going to do down dog with you now. And as we're doing this, I just want to encourage you to come back to puppy dog. If you prefer that pose, then please do that, or child's pose if you want even more relaxing variation. Even even than puppy dogs, so feel free to do that. Okay, so in our down dog, we're going to come onto all fours where we had our hands right under the shoulders, and then we'll try it about hands width ahead of that positioning with our hands spread and open, pushing into the mat. Dig your toes and then just send your hips back, so you should feel like you've got a nice reach here. Activate the hands down into the mat. Draw the shoulder blades down. Finding your core, you're going to come up like a cat ready to pounce. So we're going to elongate from our hands to our tailbone here. Then, if you like, we're going to start to lift the hips high in the air like you're trying to make a letter A, capital letter A. And then from here, we're slowly going to lower the heels till we feel the stretch, but we don't feel any change in our spinal alignment. No desire to tuck the tailbone or to kind of round your upper back. We want to maintain the same length you established in the cat, ready to pounce. Ears are in line with arms. We're going to enjoy that breath. Now you're always welcome to take that stretch a little more up the back of the leg by exhaling, lowering one heel. Inhale as you come back to center, and exhale, lower the other heel. So you're taking the dog for a bit of a walk here. Exhale, lower. Other knee bends. Inhale, we come back to center. And we just want to keep the pelvis stable, so we're not doing too much wiggling with our hips. Everything's nice and stable. It's really coming from the leg. That feels good. All right, let's say we're ready to come out of our down dog, and we're going to walk our feet towards our hands, maybe our hands towards our feet. And we're just going to stay here, sort of almost like a rag doll position. Just let yourself sway, relax. If you have any blood pressure issues, I would just come up a little higher here so my head's more in line with the heart. Any heart issues or eye issues, and just kind of let yourself sway and hang out here. Okay, so just a few more breaths there. That always feels good. Okay, we're going to put the hands on the thighs. We're going to take our time rolling up, nice and slow, all the way up to standing. Okay, we're going to come to the very top of our mat. And we're going to step back with your right foot. Okay, so from here, maybe I'll mirror image you guys because I think that'll work probably better, okay? So I'll step back left, you step back right. And we'll do a little trikonasana, or triangle pose. So we're going to have heel to arch alignment. We're going to be nice and tall here, really staying between two panes of glass. Lift your toes if you like, just to kind of get that sense of really grounding through the mound of the big toe, which helps to sort of carry up the quadriceps here and sort of align our knee with our second, third toe. From here, we're just going to hinge forward, sort of like a robot. Nothing's really changing in the waist here, just kind of hinging, and we really get to feel like our pelvis is sort of moving on the femurs. Maybe you feel a little inner thigh stretch as we do this. Let's do that one more time. And then we're just going to hold it there. Not nice strong legs. We're going to reach forward, lengthening our waist, and then just let your hand float down without flexing the spine. Take your bottom shoulder forward till it lines up maybe just over the leg if you look down, and then your top shoulder back. And you can always keep the hand down, or if you're comfortable, you're going to reach that arm up. And it's up to you where you gaze, whatever's comfortable. You could look straight ahead. If it's comfortable to do that little cervical twist and you like challenging your balance a bit, then you might look skyward. And we're breathing across the wingspan here. We're going to feel really open-hearted. Nice deep breaths. Okay, let's bring our hands back to the pelvis. We're going to bring ourselves up. And let's just do a little lunge in here. We're going to bring our hands to heart. We're going to inhale, open, and expand the heart. Now, as you lunge, this is our warrior two lunge. Just have a peek to make sure your front knee isn't collapsing inward. We want to make sure that that knee stays nice and open so we can see our big toe. Your back leg is strong and anchored. And we're really just sort of opening the heart here. Let's hold it here. You can gaze towards your thumb if you like. We relax the shoulders. Really want to watch for the bum moving back here and the ribs moving forward. We're going to bring everything into alignment as best we can. And we breathe. Relax your shoulders on the exhalation. right, we're going to release that down and we're going to step it up. And we'll step back with your other foot. And I'm going to turn to this direction. You can get another view. So again, our heel to arch alignment, we're going to start with triangles. So we're going to take the pelvis forward. We're making sure that we can feel our toes are really grounding through the mounds of our big toe or baby toe in the center of our heel. Lifting our kneecaps, energizing our legs. We're going to reach for our side wall. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Let the hand float down. And then we're going to open and rotate up toward the ceiling, gazing skyward. If you're comfortable, you don't have to. Imagine you're between those two panes of glass. Your waist is long. Breathing across your wingspan, across the heart, creating that space and opening. All right, let's bring that up. And we're going to start with those warrior two lunges. Inhale as we open. And exhale. Inhale, feel that expansiveness through the heart from fingertips to fingertips. Keeping the knee open. Keeping the body in line with the pelvis. The rib cage in line with the pelvis. Let's hold it and just breathe. And let's bring those hands in. I'm going to step our feet together. And we're going to do one balance. We'll do tree pose. Just a nice basic pose. You can always go against a wall for this. You can have a chair in front of you if you like. We're going to take one foot and you could start here with the heel on the floor, or the heel on the lower leg, toes on the floor. We can bring it up to the lower leg. We can bring it up to the inner thigh. You just go where you're comfortable. Try and energize the leg you're standing on. Energize from the sole of the foot to the crown of the head. And the hands can stay on the hips. They can be at the heart. They can be overhead, wherever you feel most comfortable. Pick a gaze point and steady your breath. Nice deep inhale, pause, full exhalation, and a pause. Let's step that down and we'll try that on the other side. I always like to start with my big toes together and my heels just a little bit apart, and that way there's not a ton of weight shifting going on as we peel the foot off. So we're going to energize our core, keep our pelvis level, and then peel that foot off to where you'd like it. You decide, find your alignment, and think of yourself just sort of like a willow in the wind. So there is going to be a little movement here. Allow yourself to go with the flow. We're practicing a lot of that nowadays. So let yourself go with the flow. We're not too rigid. We're not too slack. We're just allowing yourself to move as our body needs to. We know we have strong roots, so we're safe. Release. Always feel free to roll out your ankle as well. All right, there's so many more poses we could do, but I know we like to do some seated and a little restorative towards the end of our class. So we're going to inhale, sweep the arms up, and exhale, float down. And then let's just roll ourselves all the way back up. And let's do one series of breath of joy because it always is so uplifting, and I think we could all use a little bit of that. So we're going to inhale as we reach the arms forward. Inhale as the arms go wide. Inhale as the arms go up, and then exhale. When we come down, we can exhale through the mouth either to here, or we can come all the way down if your back feels okay with that. So I'm probably going to do the first variation. I kind of like that. Okay, so up, out, up, down. Three more. Take a moment to see how that feels. If you're not dizzy, you can close your eyes and just notice the energy that you've created, that upward lift of prana in the body. And now we're going to inhale, lift up. And exhale. Once again, we're going to ragdoll, soften the knees. You can let yourself sway. You can rest on the thighs again if you prefer, keeping your head and heart in alignment. And then we're going to work ourselves down to the floor. And we're going to come to seated. We're just going to do one pose. This is where you could use your strap if you like, and we could sit on a foamy. And we're just going to go into Janushirshasana, which is head to knee pose. So we'll draw it behind one leg, and we're going to turn that leg out. We're going to toss any part of your strap underneath the foot. Inhale, get tall. As you exhale, we're hinging forward from the hip. And then you can walk the arms out if you like. I always like to do just a gentle loose strap, so I'm just kind of hanging out in the pose. You don't want to feel like you're kind of like pulling yourself or creating a bunch of tension. Some of you might just reach your foot, and you can do that as well. But try to open up the collarbone by sliding the shoulders back and down. Let the head stay in line with the spine, and find that breath. Slowly going to bring ourselves up from that. And we're just going to take that leg that's folded. We're going to plant the heel in line with the sitting bone. Keep some energy in your straight leg. Inhale, reach the arm up and open, placing it down behind you. And it's up to you. You could just hug this leg in if that works best for you. Or we could reach and lengthen that arm up and then bring the elbow across the thigh. So whatever feels best. Inhale to get tall, keeping that energy in the straight leg, and then gently spiraling, rotating, turning the head and neck if it's comfortable, just to get into a nice gentle twist. Breathe where you can. All right, we're going to bring ourselves around, and we'll do that on the other side. So bringing the foot up, turning the leg out, and again, if you like using your strap, you're welcome to do so, any which way you like. Inhale, getting tall, lengthening our spine. Exhale, hinging forward from the hip, drawing the shoulder blades back and down, keeping the head in line. Sometimes the chin likes to jet forward here, so we're going to just keep the head in line. The chin will be not tucked down, but not jutting forward. And I should have mentioned this on the other side, but if you have any issues with external rotation, you need a little support on that leg, just take a little pillow and just give yourself enough support that you don't feel that it's sort of resisting or fighting the stretch. So feel free, again, to always do something like that. right, we're going to bring that up. We're going to take this foot, plant it, heel in line with the sitting bone, energy in the straight leg. Inhale, lift, get tall, open the chest, planting that hand. We'll take the other arm up. Again, you could either hug it to you or we can place the elbow across. Lengthening our spine and then drawing the belly in, gently rotating, turning the head and neck if it's comfortable, finding your breath. Right, we're going to bring that back to center, extend those legs, and we're going to get ready for our restorative at the end of class. So I'm going to set one up for you called Heart Bed, or show you how to set one up. Now you could use more than one block here if you have, or just one is probably fine. I'm going to give my bolster a little extra support, kind of creating a nice little diagonal here that I'm going to lay upon. And some people find this is too much of an arch for their low back, so if you find that's the case, then I would put a pillow or something under your bum and it'll create a little less space there. Now it's always important when we're coming into this position that you get right up against the bolster, so make sure you're not 5 inches away from the bolster. You want to get right up to it, not on it, but right up to it, and then tuck your tailbone a little bit as you lie down on it. And if you find, oh, I feel too arched here, then that's where I would say, okay, I'm going to put the foamy under the buttocks. Okay, so we're going to go into recline cobblers here, and this is where you might want extra pillows too. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together, and you can put the pillows for support underneath your thighs if you like. We walk the shoulders under the back, and we want to have the palms, or I should say the forearms, resting on the ground. If they're not, then that might mean you need pillows underneath your forearms too, because we really want to be comfortable here. If you find your head or neck sort of kind of likes to go into the chin up position, then you might actually want a pillow under your head and neck. So if you feel tension there, go ahead and try that. So it might take you a few moments to get into this pose, but once you do, we're going to stay here for a while. You may want to turn out the lights. You may want to have something over your eyes like a face cloth. And you may also want to have another option here, which you could change into instantly. If you prefer this one, you could also go into Shavasana with the heart bed, and that means you're just stretching out your legs. Maybe you have something like a pillow or a roll under your knees, and you might even find that you want to rest your hands on some pillows in this position. Both are lovely, so feel free to try them both out. So I'm going to leave you with those 2 poses or 2 options. This will be the final part of your class, your rest, your consolidation of all the work that you've done. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to do this yoga with me, and I want you to just take a moment as you come out of your pose, and you could stay there for 10 minutes, 20, whatever you like, to really observe the effects of your practice, to take stock, to take note, and just know how you feel different in your body, in your breath, your mind, and your spirit. So once again, thank you and namaste.